Tony Stewart has spent a lot of time away from NASCAR over the past year with his NHRA team. Last month, after the sanctioning body issued 2 major penalties for completely different reasons to 2 of the Stewart-Haas Racing's teams, the 3-time Cup Series champion was understandably unhappy and made it known. In this video, we're going to discuss Tony Stewart is done with NASCAR for good. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. Before starting the video, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. Last weekend in Florida, the NASCAR Hall of Famer was to give the order to start the engines. This does not happen. Last week, the string of bad news continued for SHR, with a ruling against the organization from the National Motorsports Appeals Panel. On October 2nd, SHR's Kevin Harvick was fined $100,000 for failing a post-race inspection at Talladega. Then, a week later, the team's driver and crew chief were fined for trying to manipulate the outcome of the Charlotte Roval race to help teammate Chase Briscoe advance in the playoffs. In a recent interview with the Associated Press, Stewart expressed his displeasure with NASCAR, saying, "I'm so mad at NASCAR right now. I'm not talking about it. If it weren't for the fact that I've got appearances to make, I wouldn't be at another NASCAR race for the rest of the year. Wouldn't waste my time." On Sunday, Cole Custer appeared to deliberately hold up a line of traffic on Charlotte's road course as teammate Chase Briscoe stormed past in a desperate effort to move into the 3rd round of the playoffs. Nothing contradicted that was done deliberately, NASCAR Senior Vice President of Competition Scott Miller said on Tuesday. Briscoe finished 9th, good enough to bump reigning NASCAR champion Kyle Larson from the playoffs as the field was trimmed from 12 drivers to 8. Briscoe earned the 8th and final spot in the next round of the playoffs by 2 points over Larson. After the penalties were announced, the 3-time Cup Series champion even tweeted he's looking for other ways to spend his time, looking for a hobby that is not Southeastern based, and that is low drama and relaxing preferably. Regardless of whether or not Custer's penalty was justified, if a team owner is this upset with NASCAR right now, it should cause concern among the higher executives of NASCAR. While it's highly unlikely that Stewart will straight up shut down his team, co-owner Gene Haas might have something to say about that, there's still a possibility that the Hall of Famer could sell his share of the team and leave the sport entirely to focus on NHRA. In fact, both Stewart and Haas have their own projects to focus on. Stewart has the NHRA and the SRX program, but Haas also could redirect his efforts towards his Formula 1 program. The effects of a team like SHR either shutting down or losing its majority owner could completely change the landscape of the Cup Series. Stewart has never been a person to shy away from a bold statement, as both a driver and an owner. So if he's as mad at NASCAR as he says he is, he could be one more wrongdoing away from pulling himself out of the sport entirely, and feeling good about it. According to a spokesperson for Stewart-Haas Racing, when reached on Monday by Auto Week, it was merely a scheduling issue that we needed to address. Tony voluntarily stepped down from the Grand Marshal position so that he had the time to engage with partners associated with Stewart-Haas Racing that was on site at Homestead. Stewart did receive one bright piece of news from Hagan that mitigated all the recent expenses. The funny car racer earned the provisional number 1 qualifying position on Friday to collect the $15,000 bonus Texas Motorplex was awarding as a promotional incentive during the Stampede of Speed branded race. Stewart won his 3rd and final NASCAR Cup Series championship in 2011, with Mobil 1 as both a sponsor and a technical partner. Stewart is married to Top Fuel driver Leah Pruitt, a 10-time winner in the NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series, and his eponymous race team made its NHRA debut earlier this year in the season opener in Pomona. Stewart was in Miami for last weekend's race at Homestead. He attended a question and answer session with some of his drivers. Country music singer Kip Moore said, "I saw this while looking up tee times for today. Tony Stewart was originally supposed to be the Grand Marshal of Homestead and give the command to the fire engines," tweeted Jeff Gluck of The Athletic. However, country singer Kip Moore, who is doing a pre-race gig, will now be giving the order instead, announced on Friday. Stewart's "wasting my time" comment likely didn't sit well with NASCAR officials. but we'll never know if he chose not to give the order or if the offer was cancelled. When it comes to adapting to new surroundings, few racers have ever done it better than Tony Stewart, so it shouldn't be much of a surprise that the NASCAR, IndyCar, USAC, IROC and SRX champ made a strong first impression during his NHRA driving debut at the Nevada Nationals at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Stewart's Mobil 1 dragster was the first top alcohol dragster to make a qualifying pass on Friday, and while Stewart was admittedly nervous, it wasn't reflected in his performance as he wheeled the McPhillips Racing entry to a very competitive 5.219 second run at 276.52 miles per hour. Stewart remained the top qualifier for most of the session until Kim Parker ran a 5.19 to bump him to the second spot. The fanfare continued through Friday's second session, where Stewart actually raced for the first time with an opponent in the other lane. It was also the first time he's dragged raced at night, although the Las Vegas track has some of the best lightings on the tour. The presence of Parker in the other lane didn't have much of an effect on Stewart, who got off the starting line cleanly before the car shook the tyres, forcing him to shut off early. SHR could appeal the decision to the National Motorsports Final Appeals Officer in accordance with the NASCAR rulebook. That likely won't happen, and this latest decision is another reinforcing reason why Stewart might want to spend more time with the NHRA going forward. I've been a rookie in a lot of different cars over the course of my career. That part won't be new, but the drag racing side is so different from anything I've driven in the past. It's all about procedures and knowing the routine and doing it the same every time, Stewart said. In all the other forms of racing, you blow a corner and you fix it and you do better the next lap. There is no next lap if you screw up in these cars. You have to do it the same every time for the team to be able to tune the car the right way, and you have to do your job. You have to cut good lights and stay in the groove. There are a lot of things people don't think about just by watching television. I've learned a lot from our teams this year. I'm sure it will be a sensory overload, but you have to start somewhere. The McPhillips family is awesome and they're great teachers, and when your wife is a professional driver and you have a teammate like Matt Hagan, they're teaching me everything I need to know. I'm excited about finally getting the opportunity to do what they do. Tony Stewart is one of the most talented and versatile drivers in motorsports history, winning in every discipline in which he's competed, said Jay Gort, ExxonMobil Global Motorsports and Sponsorships Manager. His love of racing is unwavering, and we're proud to have him represent the Mobil 1 brand as he takes on his new challenge in the NHRA. Let us know your opinion in the comments section below. This was all for today. I hope you liked the video. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay safe and we'll be back soon with another video.